It's a cinematic universe after all. Welcome to Nerdist News. Disney made magic at the box office this weekend because even without the support of people who can't accept that a guy who composes barroom ballads about the hunkiest dude in town might be gay, Beauty and the Beast still managed to score the 6th biggest opening weekend of all time. Now, the movie's box office haul was amazing, defying even the highest expectations of industry analysts. Combine that with the recent success of Jon Favreau's The Jungle Book, and I think that we can officially declare we have entered the golden age of Disney animation live-action remakes. Non-ink and paint reimaginings of The Lion King, Aladdin, Dumbo, and The Little Mermaid are all currently in the works, with more sure to be announced in the near future. But while Disney's bench of animated classics runs deep, it isn't endless, which has left us wondering, what does the House of Mouse do once all of its star princess players have been up to bat? Will the company look for hits in some of their lesser-known characters? Could a photorealistic Basil of Baker Street be coming to theaters in the summer of 2025? The answer to that should obviously be yes, because The Great Mouse Detective is the best Sherlock Holmes adaptation ever. Come at me, Stephen Moffat! No. But the more obvious answer would be to go the sequel route. But how do you craft follow-ups to some of the most beloved stories of all time? Well, if you're a 90s kid who owned a copy of The Return of Jafar, Belle's Enchanted Christmas, or The Hunchback of Notre Dame 2, Hunchback in Hawaii, you know the answer is not too well. Disney's slate of mediocre direct-to-VHS Part 2s and 3s definitely brought their sequelizing skills into question, and thankfully, that lackluster legacy hasn't been forgotten by the studio. In a recent interview with Deadline, Sean Bailey, president of Disney Live-Action Films, stated that the studio currently has no plans to generate sequels to any of their live-action animated remakes. However, the article does go on to say that prequels and spin-offs are on the table, which, quite frankly, is okay with us, since, let's be honest, The Lion King 1.5 is the only good Disney direct-to-home video movie. Come at me, extremely goofy movie fans! Oh, yeah, okay, nobody's in here. Now, what could a prequel or spin-off to Beauty and the Beast look like? Does anyone really want a movie about Cogsworth and Lumiere's adventures before they were turned into a clock and a candlestick? Well, since that would be a Ewan McGregor, Ian McKellen buddy pick, then yes, there are probably a bunch of people who would want to see that, including myself. But that's just one great movie idea. So what else could the studio be planning? Well, the answer could lie in another quote from Bailey's Deadline interview. "We were seeing Marvel and its superheroes with a very male focus, and the same with Star Wars," said the studio head, then adding, "And we had a lot of big characters here that we consider to be ours. Marvel has Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor, and we have Cinderella, Snow White, and Belle." So interesting. Disney is beginning to look at its animated library as properties similar to Star Wars and Marvel, and if that's the case, holy crap, guys, isn't the next logical step the Disney Cinematic Universe? Finally, a DCU people would actually be excited for. Oh, I didn't write it. Don't leave me hate comments. It's not my fault. It is funny, though. This is currently the most speculatively of speculations, but that doesn't mean it doesn't make total sense. First of all, it's 2017. Anything with even the remotest of franchise potential is probably under consideration for the cinematic universe treatment. But secondly, Disney fans have been crafting their own imaginary cinematic universes for years, finding ways to connect Frozen to Tarzan and Tarzan to The Little Mermaid. And recently, the filmmakers behind these movies have been confirming their crazy theories. In a 2015 Reddit AMA, Frozen director Chris Buck said, in his head at least, Elsa and Anna's parents didn't die in that shipwreck, but instead washed up on the shores of a jungle where they gave birth to a vine-swinging, ape-befriending baby boy. Boom! Tarzan has sisters he never knew about in Arendelle, and a mini-cinematic universe is born. Of course, this is by no means canon, but the fact that folks from Disney are even aware of these fan-made connections is really exciting, especially after the success of Beauty and the Beast. It means you just know somewhere on the Disney lot, someone is discussing the possibility of a true cinematic universe to tie all these characters together, and hey, it worked on the small screen for once upon a time. But of course, this doesn't necessarily mean that it should happen. Do you guys think these characters should just be left alone in their own stories, or are you excited to see them cross over? And if so, do you have any great pitches? Personally, we're dying to see what happens when Abu and Iago meet the Aristocats. Let's discuss. Be sure to tune in every day at 1 p.m. PST on YouTube, Facebook, and Alpha this month for Nerdist News Talks Back. We're breaking down who is the best villain of all time for March Badness, so help us figure out who is the best at being the worst.